Hello everyone. In the last lecture we talked about boosting in regression trees. Today we'll be discussing one algorithm which works for classification trees. Okay, boosting algorithm which works for classification trees. The basic principle remains the same. You have very small or very weak classifiers, very small trees or very weak classifiers at every stage, and you finally try to combine the effect of all of them to get a very strong classifier. Okay. However, we know that we can't compute residuals as such in the case of classification. In regression, we computed residuals and we fitted the successive trees on the residuals from the earlier trees. In the case of classification, getting residuals is not possible because our prediction is just a class. In fact, we would be seeing an algorithm which works only for two class problem, that is binary classification problem. We won't be going into multi-class classification problems. So we can't compute residual. Then how would we proceed? The regression setup used residuals because we said that your first model tries to explain some variation in y. Then whatever remains to be explained is captured by residuals. So you fit the next model to that part, the part which remains to be explained. Okay, and you go on continuously doing this. As a result, whatever was unexplained by the earlier step now gets explained, and hence boosting gives a good result because it actually focuses on that part which needs to be explained. It doesn't go on fitting to the entire data again and again. So it avoids redundancy and focuses attention to the part which needs attention. So in classification, how can that be achieved? We can't have residuals, but what we can do is we can see that when I fit one particular classifier, which observations are misclassified. The observations which are misclassified are not actually completely explained by the classifier. Hence they are misclassified. So I should force my next tree to focus more on misclassified observation. So it's kind of like unexplained part of the classification problem. And if I go on doing this successively, that is at every stage I would see what are the observations which were misclassified by the previous step, and I would expect my next classifier to focus more on them. Then hopefully at the end we will have a good tree. Okay, and of course just like in the regression we would combine outputs from all of them, all the earlier trees. Okay, so this is a basic step. So how do we force a classifier to focus only on certain observations? So what we can do is assign weights. Okay, if I assign weights to observations, it means I am saying that okay, say observation 1 is say more important than observation 3, then my classifier would focus more on observation 1. And we just said that my weights should be such that a misclassified observation should get, misclassified means misclassified by earlier classifier, should get more weight. So that is exactly what the boosting would do. So you will start with some initial original data. Okay, so in the original data you fit the first classifier, you call it say G1x. Okay, G1x is a classifier. Then you get a weighted sample. These weights are dependent on misclassifications in the earlier step. So that to that weighted sample you fit G2x. Then using the classification predictions from second classifier, that is from G2, you again get a new weighted sample and you fit G3x to that, and this procedure continues till some stage M. You have final weighted sample M, you fit a GMX to that, and then you finally define your final predictor as weighted average of these individual predictors. Okay, if I am using M here, let me use K here. Okay, this is the last step is suppose K. So M going from 1 to K. Okay, so my final prediction is weighted average of earlier predictions, and of course your intuition would tell you that these weights should be in such a way that out of these individual classifiers, whoever is doing good should get more weight. Correct? For whichever classifier the error is low, the weight should be more. Which makes sense, right? In the final prediction, those trees should get to contribute more who have classified more observations correctly. This is basic schematic of the boosting algorithm that we are going to see. Its name is AdaBoost M1. Okay, there are many boosting algorithms out in the world. There is no end to it, but we are going to focus only on one algorithm, AdaBoost M1. See, our focus is to study some basic tools because this is a very vast field. Data mining is a very vast field. And it's continuously growing field, at least in the today's world. It's a hot topic. So people are doing research like every minute. So you can't actually learn everything that is out in the world in a 6-month course. So what we are going to do is we are going to learn some basic tools which would make our foundations so that whenever a new thing comes along, we know how to think, we know how to interpret that thing, we know how to understand the algorithm, and we can catch it up easily. Okay, I always say that entire MSc syllabus is important, no doubt, but more than the syllabus, the way of thinking that you develop in MSc is more important, because the content of the syllabus is going to change as the world discovers new and new things, and it can never be sufficient for your next 40 years of job, because you will have to come up with new things, you'll have to study new things, but the way of thinking that you develop here will help you study those things faster. Okay, so we will go for AdaBoost M1. So let me try to write down the algorithm, and then we will study that algorithm. We'll try to understand each and every step in more detail. Okay. For the sake of convenience, we always denote the binary classes in AdaBoost by -1 and +1. Okay, we don't call them 0, 1. So we denote them by -1 and +1. So one is kind of a negative class, other is kind of positive class. So we said that the first step has to be, of course, fit to the original data. So in the first step, my weights have to be equal. So initialize observation weights to be 1 by n, where n is the total number of observations. So I from 1 to n, for every observation, these are my weights. Now for m in 1 to k, so k is the total number of small trees that we are going to use. Yeah, so each of these classifiers is again going to be a stump, right? Or at most a tree with depth 2. So that part is common in regression and classification. So we first fit a classifier GMX to the training data with weights WI, to the training data with weights WI. So these are the things that we have to repeat. Okay, so that's why it is for m in 1 to k. So for every tree we are going to repeat these steps. Then we need to compute misclassification error, because that misclassification error is going to decide what should be the final weight of this classifier in the final prediction. And of course, using misclassified observations, we are going to revise the weights of individual observations. So compute error for the mth classifier as sum over I going from 1 to n wi indicator of yi not equal to gmxi upon sum over wi, I going from 1 to n. Let us try to understand this formula. See, normally when we say misclassification error, we just focus on this part. So sum over indicators and we divide by n, capital N. So we see out of all n observations how many are misclassified. So that proportion becomes my error. Now we are bringing in the weights also. Okay, so we are kind of computing weighted misclassification error. Okay, so if an observation had a higher weight, means if an observation was given more importance in fitting the tree and still if it gets misclassified, then that tree is actually bad, right? Because even when you focused on a particular observation, you couldn't give a good fit to that observation. So that means you are bad. So the misclassification error should be considered higher in such cases. Am I making sense? Okay. So that's why this error is actually a weighted error. And now using this error, we compute alpha m as log of 1 minus error m upon error m. So error is misclassification error that we computed here, and alpha is some function of it. Now first thing we discussed, when we discussed the ROC curve, we said that even the worst classifier, that is the random classifier, would have 50% accuracy. Okay, so when I say I have some weak classifier, it is supposed to be better than 50%. So its accuracy is supposed to be more than 50%. If accuracy is more than 50%, error is supposed to be less than 50%. Okay, so if error is less than 50%, 1 minus error would be less than 0.5 and would be greater than 0.5 and error would be less than 0.5. Okay, error is less than 0.5, so 1 minus error would be greater than 0.5. So this fraction, entire fraction, would be greater than 1, and as a result log of that would be greater than 0. So alpha m is positive. Okay, alpha m is positive for a classifier which is decent. And here of course we are going to have, even though weak, we are going to have decent classifiers. We won't have a classifier which has accuracy worse than the random predictor. In that case we would go for the random predictor which has at least 0.5 chances. Okay, so alpha m is positive. And what is the role of alpha m? We saw that here in the final prediction, alpha m is the weight given to the predictions coming from mth classifier, right? Now see what happens when error is high or low. So let me consider two classifiers, or maybe let us finish the algorithm first and then we'll discuss this step. So the next step of the algorithm says you have to revise the weights. So set weights to be original weights into e raised to alpha m, indicator of yi not equal to gmxi. This again happens for every I. Okay, so these 4 steps you have to repeat. So you compute alpha m's, you store them somewhere. Alpha m is a weight for mth classifier. You do this for every tree, and then at every tree you revise weights of all the n observations. Okay, using alpha m and using the prediction from that. We'll discuss this, don't worry. And now the final step, that is the complete final classification. So output gx, that is the final prediction, is sine of sum over m going from 1 to k, like sum over all trees, alpha m gmx. Okay, so it's a weighted average of all the earlier predictions. Okay, now let me try to discuss in between steps. So you start with common weight, that is fine, no doubt about that, right? You fit a classifier to the training data, that is also fine. Now in the error we said we compute weighted errors. Why? We discussed, because if you had higher weight initially to that observation and still if you couldn't predict it well, then it's bad. Okay, so you should suffer more for that. So your error should be computed more for that. That's why it's a weighted error. We also saw that alpha m has to be positive. Okay, because you are having a weak classifier, you are not having a bad classifier, a classifier which is worse than the random classification. And now if I have two classifiers, so let's say error of first classifier is less than error of second classifier, then minus E1 would be greater than minus E2. 1 minus E1 would be greater than 1 minus E2. Okay. And even when we divide, so E1 is smaller. So when I divide by E1 and when I divide here by E2, this is still going to be smaller. This is going to be larger. So alpha m is large if the classifier has low error. Are you getting it? So E1 is less than E2, then error for, the alpha for E1, alpha corresponding to that classifier is higher. So in the final prediction, classifier which has overall good accuracy gets more importance. Okay, here. That makes sense. And now about revising the weights. First thing to be noticed, we are revising weights only for those observations which are misclassified, right? If indicator yi not equal to gmxi is 0, means if an observation is not misclassified, then I am getting e raised to 0, that is 1. So my weight remains wi, it doesn't get changed. Okay, so weight remains constant. And we also saw alpha is positive. So if indicator is 1, then I am multiplying the original weight by e raised to alpha. Of course, since alpha is positive, e raised to alpha is greater than 1. So I am increasing the weights if an observation is misclassified. I am keeping the weight same if the observation is not misclassified. Okay. So I am telling the next classifier to focus more on the misclassified observation, and I am telling it to focus less on the observations which were correctly classified earlier. Is it okay? And in the final output, each of these GMX is going to be either +1 or -1. Correct, because each of them is predicting a class, and we are taking final output as sine of this sum. So I know that I give more weights to those which were classifying correctly. So supposedly if many classifiers have predicted +1 and if they have more weights, then the final prediction would be positive. So positive means you again predict the class +1. Similarly, if more classifiers have predicted -1 class, alphas are anyway positive, so the weighted mean would also be -1 and you predict negative class. Is it okay? So this is AdaBoost M1, which is an algorithm for classification trees with binary classes. Okay, and as I said, just like regression boosting, it learns slow but it does a very good job. Boosting improves predictions and classifications, by a significant margin over many other classifiers, even though individual classifiers are just stumps or very small trees and hence they are very weak. Okay, so try to go through this algorithm. It is slightly involved, not much involved, it's slightly involved, but try to understand each and every step and I'm sure you would be able to process it quite well. Okay, I'll stop here. Thank you.